Hi guys, my name is Vuvu and this is Vuvu Vena Reads. If you are new on here, please consider pressing the red subscribe button down below and joining the family. If you are a member of the fam bam, a member of the tribe, welcome back fam, and thank you for joining me once again. On today's video, I am sharing a haul of quite a number of books here. So it's a mixture of books I got from publishers and books that I bought for myself and some books that I was gifted. So if you're curious as to what's the new addition to my cozy little library behind me is, please do stay tuned.
So Vena_reads is an amazing book reviewer, also YouTuber. She reviews books on YouTube, and if I'm not mistaken, she also has a blog as well. So please, if for your connection with literature, get in touch with or follow at VUVUVENA_reads. She is based in South Africa, and I think it is also extremely important to follow literary content creators who are based outside of the West and in continental Africa, because they do a really good job of bridging the gap.
We appreciate you, Vuvu, for bringing us Turning Pages and for bringing us your BookTube channel.
You know, this is a chance for people to actually see some people that I really enjoy.
Please consider pressing the red subscribe button down below, and if you are returning, welcome back fam.
Vuvu, you're amazing. Thank you so much for your time.
So let's start off with the books that I got from Jonathan Ball Publishers. Some of these, remember my last haul, I think I mentioned to you guys that there were books that I couldn't find that were sent to me that I'd put around the house, couldn't really quite get my, you know, fingers into where exactly they were in the house. I got them now, and I'm very happy to announce these books and to know that I have told you guys about all the books that I have received from publishers. So I'll start with the ones that Jonathan Ball sent me at the end of last year, which I absolutely was thrilled by. The first one is Viola Davis's Finding Me. I know this needs no introduction. Sorry about that. So I know this needs no introduction. It has been doing the rounds for a very long time. It is her memoir. Absolutely love this book cover. Absolutely love just how stunning she is. I am a super fan of How to Get Away with Murder. I finished the series and I dabble in a few episodes from time to time just for comfort, you know. I feel like they did the things with that series, and I absolutely love her character. So I don't think that she requires any introduction herself, but I will read the back for you. And I suppose this is a young Viola. Very cute, very cute. It reads, in my book you will meet a little girl named Viola who ran from her past until she made a life-changing decision to stop running forever. This is my story from a crumbling apartment in Central Falls, Rhode Island, to the stage in New York City and beyond. This is the path I took to find my purpose, but also my voice in a world that didn't always see me. As I wrote Finding Me, my eyes were open to the truth of how our stories are often not given close examination. We are forced to reinvent them to fit into a crazy, competitive, judgmental world. So I wrote this for anyone running through life untethered, desperate, and clawing their way through murky memories, trying to get to some form of self-love. For anyone who needs reminding that a life worth living can only be born from radical honesty and courage to shed facades and be you. Finding Me is a deep reflection, a promise, and a love letter of sorts to self. My hope is that my story will inspire you to light up your own life with creative expression and rediscover who you were before the world put a label on you. Oh, I love that. So that's the first book from Jonathan Ball. This came with this lovely book over here. Let's take a moment for the cover, shall we? Shall we just? This one is called The Daughter of Dr Monroe by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. We know her from Mexican Gothic, same author. Mexican Gothic, that's her. And I see that there are two other books of hers that I don't own, but I started Mexican Gothic last year, but life happened and I couldn't finish it. I'm gonna restart it this year. It is absolutely deliciously written. I cannot wait to be in the right mind space for it. So I'm psyched to have received this one, no doubt. Marino Garcia is a magician. This is from The Observer. She's a New York Times best-selling author of Mexican Gothic, and some of her other books that are listed here at the back are The Beautiful Ones and Velvet Was the Night. I am so hungering for Velvet Was the Night, but that's a story for another day. This is what she looks like. I hope you can see this is her. I'm going to read you the back from the what? Let me take a sip of water. Let me just do that. Let's try again. From the New York Times best-selling author of Mexican Gothic and Velvet Was the Night comes a dreamy reimagining of the island of Dr. Monroe, set against the backdrop of 19th century Mexico. Carlota Monroe, a young woman growing up in a distant and luxuriant estate, safe from the conflict and strife of the Yucatan, I want to say peninsula, the only daughter of either a genius or a madman. Montgomery Lawton, a melancholic overseer with a tragic past and a propensity for alcohol, an outcast who assists Dr. Monroe with the scientific experiments, which are financed by the Lizardis, owners of magnificent hacienda and plentiful coffers. The hybrids, the fruit of the doctor's labor, destined to blindly obey their creator and remain in the shadows. A motley group of part human, part animal monstrosities. All of them are living in a perfectly balanced and static world, which is jolted by the abrupt arrival of Eduardo Lizalde, the charming and careless son of Dr. Monroe's patron, who will unwittingly begin a dangerous chain reaction. For Monroe keeps secrets, Carlotto has questions, and in the sweltering heat of the jungle, passions may ignite. Because excuse me, I'm ready for you. I am. And most recently, they sent this press draft. I couldn't do a proper unpacking. I couldn't do a proper unboxing because I was too psyched and I was not in the best of spaces when I got this, so it lifted my mood. But as you can see from the cover, this is Maame. Oh child, forgive me. And the back is written Jonathan Ball Publishers, and everything came in a box wrapped in this gorgeous silver thing, written compliments from Jonathan Ball. Yes, Jonathan Ball Publishers. And this is the much anticipated book that everybody's been wanting. I'm gonna read you the author's letter, of course, just in case you do get the book and you don't get the author's letter. This one is signed. Things that make me happy. So this is Maame by Jessica George. It says, I was raised to be Maame, now I want to be me. A moment for the cover. Thank you kindly. This is she, the author. I hope it shows. There are some accolades at the front from Celeste Ng, utterly charming, deeply moving. From Bonnie Gomez, Prepare to Fall in Love. From Beth O'Leary, heartwarming and empowering. So Nikki May says heartbreaking and heart healing. Louise O'Neill says charming, moving, poignant. Maame has many meanings in Twi, but in my case it means woman. Meet Maddie Wright. All her life she's been told who she is. To her Ghanaian parents, she's Maame, the one who takes care of the family, her mom's stand-in, her dad's carer, the one who keeps the peace and the secrets. It's time for her to speak up. When she finally gets the chance to leave home, Maddie is determined to become the woman who she wants to be. One who wears a bright yellow suit, stands up to her boss, and dates men who definitely aren't on her mom's list of prospective husbands. Someone who doesn't have to Google all her life's choices. But when tragedy strikes, Maddie is forced to face the risks and rewards of putting her heart on the line. Will it take losing everything to find her voice? A poignant, funny, and achingly relatable as its heroine, Miami is an unforgettable coming-of-age novel about finally finding where you belong. A book that people are going to cherish. This is what Bobby Palmer says. It kind of sounds like the kind of coming-of-age story that we get from Yinka, Where Is Your Husband? But we shall see how this one goes. I am looking forward to reading it. I absolutely love this cover. I cannot get over it. And if I am mispronouncing this, I really am sorry. It could be Mame or Maame. Mame. I don't know, child. I'm sorry about that. Let me just read you guys the author's letter. Maame has many meanings. It can be considered a term of endearment used to affectionately replace sweetheart or darling, but its literal definition is to be a woman or a mother. And in the case of 25-year-old Maddie, that duality is particularly important. In this story, Miami is used as an excuse to give Maddie a lot of responsibility early on in her life, an excuse for her to be treated like a woman when she's still a girl, to look after and take care of everyone else, to be independent or alone from a very young age, all of which turn out to be generational hand-me-downs. Maddie, Miami, is at the heart of this novel, a British Ghanaian woman grappling with the dynamics of her unconventional family, the messy reality of friendship, the unwielding nature of grief, and the reality of finding out who she is when she's only ever been told. It's a later than average coming of age, interspersed with many first relationships, first major choices, first real boss, about how Maddie learns to navigate this new phase of life, partly through dubious anecdotes and life advice from online strangers. Much like life itself, it's a story filled with stories, the main one being Maddie's reaction to the loss of her father and the unexpected and incoherent journey of grief takes her on. Grief takes her on. Miami started as a stream of consciousness diary entries after my own dad died in 2020. I hadn't kept a diary since I was 15, so I pulled out a random notebook from my cluttered desk and began to write down how I felt each day, not so much for cathartic release, but in an effort to understand grief. Funnily enough, the diary and the story has helped me realize that there was no understanding it, that grief exists as an entity that cannot be understood, only felt. Another story within Miami is one so many of us have lived, a story about identity and what it means when it is not of your own making. Being a 25-year-old carer for a father suffering from Parkinson's disease takes up so much of Maddie's world, influencing her daily routine, her approach to opportunity, her friendships and potential relationships. So without him, the question then arises, who is Maddie without her father? What happens when the person you've become is revealed as an identity constructed around and bestowed upon you by others? The cautious carer, the dutiful daughter, the savior sister. Wipe those all away, and what, or rather who, is left? Miami is my attempt to answer those questions and many more. Needless to say, it's a story very close to my heart, and I hope you enjoy reading it. Jess X. Okay, that's what the author had to say. I'm going to jump into some of the books that I bought for myself, because as you guys know, I really do not give synopsis to those. I don't read the synopsis, and then I'm going to end off with 2 other books from publishers. Okay, I think that will work best. Books I got for myself. Perennice by Susan Clark. I've heard a lot of good things about this one, but as you guys know, I am a blind reader in the sense that I love coming into my books knowing very little about them, and that's never gonna change. I know the basics of the story, but I really feel like it is something that's gonna stick and stay with me. Absolutely love the cover. It's already giving off the feels of a fantasy type of tale, and from what I gather, from what I've heard, it's almost like a darkish fantasy, okay, if I'm not mistaken. And this one was one of my favorite top rated books of 2021, I want to say, but I had bought it off Kindle. I recently got a copy of my own. Absolutely loved reading this. It is a translated work. It is called At Night All Blood is Black by David Diop, and he is the winner of the 2021 International Booker Prize. And this is a story that involves a very highly reliable narrator, and it is a story of war. It is based in I want to remember the African country, because child, 2021 was a long time ago, but it is definitely a story of war, of liberation, of who we become as we try and navigate that. The author is Senegalese, so I do think that it is based in Senegal. Absolutely love this. It is one of my all-time favorites. 5 out of 5, no questions asked. The next book that I got still has a sticker on it, and I try not to do this. But anyway, here we go. This is V.E. Schwab, whom you guys know I love, and this is called Gallant. I know very little about this, but she is one of those authors that I would definitely buy blind after reading the Monsters of Verity series, which I absolutely loved about 4 years ago, if not 5. Absolutely buy her blind. I have no care in the world. I don't care if people think that she's writing the worst garbage. How I felt when I read that series is you know, it's like falling in love and always having a soft spot for an author. This is how I feel about her. So I got myself a copy of Gallant. You guys know that I've been looking for the final book in the Court of, what do they call it, Thorns and Roses series, right? And I had seen the other cover, but my covers are this design, so I didn't want to buy a different one. However, I did rush off and actually read the book via script on audio, so I do know how this one goes. It's an absolute lovely last, because I don't think this is going to be the last book in the series, so we wait for the next book. So while I wait, I'm gonna start the House of Earth and Blood, Crescent City kind of situation. I've got the 2 books now, so I'm just gonna add this to my shelf and add to the beauty of that. Then the last book that I got for myself is this one. This one is The Secret Lives of Church Ladies. I happen to have also listened to the audio of this last year. Absolutely loved it. It's a collection of short stories about Black women in America navigating their sexuality, their selfhood in the backdrop of Christianity and tradition that is very expectant of the female in society, right, and their role and who they should be in light of how the world perceives them. I hope that makes sense, but it is very well done. It is very well done. I actually sold a copy from Hive Books. I think I might put this one in the bookstore as well, because somebody else did say that they want a copy, but I highly recommend this one. I think it was probably a 4+ rating last year when I read it. Very well done. And then I got gifts from my friends. I love how bookish people give each other books. Sorry, I don't know what's wrong with my throat. Books or bookish things. That is absolutely thing for me. Love language for sure. So my friend Charity over at Booked on Charity, if you do not follow her, please do. She is part of the ladies that I sprint with, so in the sprint videos you will see the link to her channel. But if you just search Booked on Charity, one word, on the search bar. Here you will find her channel. Please do subscribe. And she gifted me this one, which is Michelle Obama's The Light We Carry, and I'm looking forward to reading this one. I'm going in it blind, of course, but obviously the title does give a little bit of a spoiler, so I kind of know what kind of non-fiction it's going to be. I look forward to reading it. I did read her other non-fiction. What was her first book again? Becoming, a few years back, which I did enjoy, so I'm hoping that this is also likely to be fun. So if you joined our first sprint of 2023 last month, you will realize that I have in my hands the book that Nontli was reading, Patience is a Subtle Thief. She finished reading it during the sprints. Ooh, I didn't realize this was double textured. This cover is giving. So she was on some chummy, I'm leaving you this copy, okay? I'm like, I'll say less. Give it to me, of course. So I can't wait to read this one. She also happened to leave me the bookmark, which I think she didn't want to leave, but now she can never get it back because I don't know if you guys can see this. It goes so well with my new book. You see it belongs to the Sarah J Maas pile, which Little Miss Thing doesn't have, so it doesn't make any sense for her to have this bookmark. It says Untamed Power, Untamed Passion, A Court of Silver Flames. Which one is that one? Is that the latest one? Is that the one that I just showed you? Yes, it is. So you can imagine. You guessed it. You guessed it. I love it for myself. I love it. Okay, so from Pen, it is Pen, yes. From Pen Macmillan, I got this one, which I think is gonna be my next read. It is The Cat Who Caught a Killer. Okay, so it says it's a charming original. This book is The Cat's Whiskers. It says Anthony Horowitz. Okay, this one is by L.T. Shearer. And the back reads, meet Conrad. You've never met a cat like him before. Neither has Lulu Lewis when he walks into her life. One summer day, mourning the recent death of her husband, the former police detective had expected a gentle retirement, quietly enjoying life on her new canal boat, wow, the Lock, and visiting her mother-in-law Emily in a nearby care home. But when Emily dies suddenly in suspicious circumstances, Lulu senses foul play and resolves to find out what really happened. And a remarkable cat named Conrad will be with her every step of the way. Perfect for all those who love their crime cozy. Okay, so this is what Peter James says. So it's a cozy crime novel, obviously. I'm looking forward to that one. And the last book that I have here is one from NB Publishers, and this is The Legend of Zola Mahobe and the Mamelodi Sundown story by Don Lepati and Nicolaus Kirkinis. I don't know, child. Okay, so Mark Gleason says, a great South African tale encompassing crime, intrigue, politics, money, and of course, soccer. So the back of this one reads, this book is a portrait of a larger-than-life Sowetan who from humble beginnings turned himself into a jet-setting multimillionaire by robbing a bank and splashing his loot in full view. I wanted to collect Zola's spirit and bring it home where it belongs, in the hearts of Mamelodi Sundowns supporters, soccer fans, and ordinary South Africans. Zola Mahobe, Mr. Cool as he was known, burst onto the soccer scene when he bought Mamelodi Sundowns at the age of 31 and appointed the flamboyant screamer Chabalala as coach. Paying huge sums to attract top players, he grew Sundowns into one of South Africa's leading teams. With his extravagant approach and love of the spotlight, Zola was living large. This was a man quoted as saying that he never traveled without his gun and his lawyer. Zola drove expensive cars, mingled with A-list celebrities, bought a racehorse, and took the entire team to London for an all-expenses paid trip to the FA Cup final. Then Zola's mistress, Snowy Mushweshwe, was arrested. In this book, Don Lepati tells the insightful and entertaining story of one man who stole from the system to create a team for the people. Zola laid the foundation for the development and success of Sundowns, is what Precious Mutipe says in Soka Laduma. So that's that on that. This is intriguing, and I will not lie to you, Mr. Man got me wanting to read this one, so I am curious as to what transpires in here, and I've heard that it's actually quite well written, so I cannot wait. This one I got from NB Publishers, as mentioned. And that brings us to the end of this haul. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please let me know which books you plan to read, which books you've already read, what you feel about them without spoiling the whole shebang. Let's have a little chit chat in the comment section down below. But until next time, I really do love you guys for choosing me. Bye now.